As we continue through our journey of a spring anime season, I find myself slowly but surely being caught up by the ever-coming wave of episodes 2. Thankfully, I'm still keeping ahead of it for now, and I'm feeling like I will hopefully be able to stick ahead of it throughout the rest of the preview guide. No promises though. But it'll help me a lot if you let me know in the comments which videos you like, which episodes and anime you enjoyed, and whether or not I'm right or wrong about my opinions about these. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and check me out over on Twitch where I do daily streams doing Ring Fit and other random stuff, recording stuff you see on YouTube. But this isn't about me promoting myself, it's about me looking at anime, and you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to look at 4 more new shows today, and let you know what I think of them. Because this is a 2024 spring anime preview from a different perspective. First up today, we have the golf anime, Tonbo. An anime which is very much on the heels of likes of Birdie Wing in trying to cash in on the success of another popular sports anime. Our main and title character this time is of course the tomboy Tonbo, who is a girl who's grown up on the island of Kagoshima when our other main character, Kazuyoshi Igarashi, turns up looking for work with way too much luggage, including, for some reason, a set of golf clubs. We learn later on that he was a former professional golfer who for some reasons quit and started to look for work on Kagoshima rather than doing more golfing stuff. Clearly there's some backstory there we'll get to later on in the series. Little does Igarashi know, however, that Kagoshima is a mecca for golf, just not very well known. You see, the islanders, despite them being all isolated and very self-contained, have decided to build themselves a golf course on this random island in Japan, hidden from everybody else just so they can have something to do. And our main character Tonbo has been playing with a single golf club her entire life, the 3-iron. It's heavily worn, heavily used, and because she's playing golf with a single club, she's managed to adapt her play to use a 3-iron in any occasion. Will this be a traditional sports anime where a former professional finds a talented youngster, trains them up, and the trials and tribulations they come across? That's what it looks like to me. This is definitely not the same bombastic fun that Birdie Wing was. Not that I expected it to be either. Tonbo appears to be a traditional sports-based anime, just not set in a school, just a sports person doing their sports on their own, and I'm all for that. But sports anime can be very hit or miss. This one has got a lot of trials and tribulations to cross itself. Whether or not it will succeed, only time will tell. I may give this on a few more episodes. It's airing over at a weird place this season. It's airing over at Amazon Prime Video. So if you want to watch it, just head on over to Amazon. Secondly, we've got an isekai anime. Who would have thought it? As a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. It's one of those isekai. The type of isekai which has a bunch of random story plot lines in the title, and it follows them to the nose. Our main character this time is the aforementioned reincarnated aristocrat, Ars Luvant, a young noble, son of a local lord, but born with an innate skill to appraise things or people, and what skills they have. And so he's going to be using that skill to find himself allies, friends, colleagues, whatever he wants to call them, who are going to help him become the best person he can be and get him together to attack the clearly obvious troubled times ahead as the country is going to shit. One thing which I'm very pleased about this anime, it doesn't go for a whole rigmarole of, oh my god, I'm a baby, I need to grow up and learn all my skills together. We're just introduced to him as a youngster, and even though we do get to see him learning his skills, he is limited in what he knows about them. One thing he can't appraise, for example, is himself. But we see him appraise the archery skill of a soldier, tells him you should try archery, not soldiering. But he doesn't want to reveal his ability to other people, so he talks about it being like intuitions or feelings. Clearly that's going to come out at some point in the anime, no idea when. We meet his first ally in the form of Reitz Mooses, a young Marken man, a race which is looked down upon by most of the country, including the nobles, who is on the run after being abandoned by a mercenary group. He has nothing to do, he's got no food, no life, and nobody trusts him because of his race. However, Ars accidentally appraises him and sees this guy has an extreme level of potential. He's not there yet, but with right training and right skills, he will become a legend. And so Ars is all about, okay, I'm going to recruit you, I want you to be my retainer. And of course, Reitz, being a nice guy, doesn't want to drag him down. He knows how people view his race. And even Ars' father, the Lord, says, I don't know what you're smoking there, mate, you can't have that as a retainer. But Ars convinces his father to let Reitz have a go. And there we have a traditional sword fight between the legendary sword fighter, Ars' father, and Reitz, this down and out foreigner, downtrodden kid with no real backstory whatsoever so far. And yet he does very well in a fight. He doesn't beat the father, but he does manage to graze him with a sword, just to an extent. But the father says, I believe in your skills, you can do it. Where this goes from this point on, is it going to be a case of Ars befriending people through their talents? Is it all going to be downtrodden people? Or are they going to be other people as well? I'm intrigued where this one's going to go. I do like a random isekai every season, and this one may be one I go to this season. But if you do want to try a reincarnated aristocrat using appraisal skills to rise in the world, you can find this one on Crunchyroll. Next today, we have a comedy in the form of Grandpa and Grandma Turn Young Again. An anime where the main two characters, Ine and Shoujo Saito, are an old, elderly couple tending the orchard of a local village, when suddenly they come across the tree they planted to celebrate their marriage. And this tree has weathered many a storm. They've been married for 70 years. Like them, the tree has weathered many a storm, and even got damaged in a recent typhoon. They repaired it, the tree grew back, and they look at the tree and they find a golden apple. And through the magic of a golden apple, they wake up the next morning and they are young again. Now, not young as in got all their hair in place and everything like that. They look like they were in their 20s, just with their silver hair, because they were originally old people. Their hair is a lot less colour, but they are very much youthful and full of energy again. There are lots of places they could have taken this anime, but this one decided to take it in the comedy route, where Ine and Shoujo end up surprising everybody they know with the fact that they are now young again. Suddenly, Shoujo's granddaughter is doting on him because he's a very handsome young man, even though he's not exactly a handsome young man anymore. We also get to see some fun moments between the daughter of the old couple, and suddenly all the interactions between family members of different generations, looking similar or younger, going to be very interesting. Well, the key thing is, both Ine and Shoujo, even though they look young and attractive, are still very much the elderly couple at heart. They go about their lives, they dress, they live based on what they've done so before. And so Shoujo is still wearing those high trousers, which Japanese old folk always seem to be wearing in anime. Ine wanders around with the cloth hat which a lot of old farmers wear in rural Japan. Don't know if it's got a name, but she wears it anyway. There's not a huge amount to talk about this one so far. I've pretty much given you a plot and a premise. You can probably see where this one's going. There's a sports day where suddenly this elderly couple who've been together for 70 years is youthful, yet perfectly in sync. So the three-legged race is no problem. They can just run it without even having to look at each other, much to the chagrin of everybody else participating. This one's one which I might go back to for more. It's a light comedy, very light-hearted and fun to watch, but it's not going to be world-changing. I could be wrong, but I'll maybe give it a few more episodes. You can find it over at Crunchyroll. Finally today, we have the Ouran High School Vampire Club, an anime about a bunch of pretty boys suddenly greeting a young, attractive female character, inviting for her into their circle, without realising that she's not actually an attractive young man. Except the difference between Ouran and this one, Vampire Dormitory, is, instead of being random high schoolers in a host club, our pretty boys this time out are vampires from the world of the dead. And our young female protagonist, instead of just being a poor girl in a rich high school, she's a poor girl, poor because she's being abandoned by her entire family after her parents died. She's passed around all her relatives who don't want to pay any attention to her, don't give a damn what she's doing, until one of them just says, okay, you're on your own, you're old enough to start working, so earn a living for yourself. She has herself a job, but she gets kicked out of her job for stupid reasons. Apparently, her being so attractive is inviting all the women around, and so the men are complaining they can't go to a ramen shop. Again, this worker doesn't seem to realise that she's a girl. Everybody's just treating her like a boy, because she looks so much like your traditional pretty boy. And so, she's tempted to end it all by standing on a bridge over a river. Well, she changes her mind and doesn't want to do it, but wind blows her off a bridge, and she finds herself falling, only to be saved by a vampire, who proceeds to suck her blood and tell her that her blood is disgusting. Apparently, the amount of worry she has, in fact she's never loved before and never been loved, is making her blood taste terrible. And we later on learn that this vampire, Ruka Saotome, is also a vampire who can't drink female person's blood. We don't know why, maybe just scared of girls, but he has an inability to drink a young lady's blood. Maybe that's why he finds it so disgusting. Not that she is not loved before, but because she's a girl. Not that Mito really tells him that, because she's immediately hired as his new thrall, because he wants to show her that it's okay to love and be loved, so we can bond together as bros, and so his blood will finally start tasting decent. Again, this is going to be a case that nobody's going to realise she's a girl until various points of the story. There's going to be secrets to be had, there's going to be problems because Ruka will realise she's a girl, and that's going to cause all manner of drama. And in the end, of course, Ruka's going to fall in love with her anyway, and we're going to go on as her being the mistress of the main vampire. This is very much not a show for me, but it's not a bad show. I found it interesting. I don't think I'll watch more of it because there's just too much on this season. But if you like this type of show, if you liked Ouran, if you like Pretty Boy anime, this one's definitely one to try. You can find it on Crunchyroll. That was Tonbo. As Reincarnated Aristocrat, I use my appraisal skills to rise in the world, Grandpa and Grandma turn young again, and Vampire Dormitory. 4 shows of very different styles, but 4 shows which I didn't mind too much. Not great, not bad. What do you think? Let me know and join me next time. Bye bye.